Hello! Today we will be discussing step number 1 of the 11 steps of magic. I'm talking about the chaos of ideas. Everyone, whenever you want to create something, starts from the same starting point. That is an idea. You have an idea of what you want to create. Well, that idea is made of three things, three main components. A mental picture of what you want to create, the thing in itself, in a material state, and then the definition, that is, what that thing is put into words. Well, we all, human beings, we all make the same mistake, which is to confuse all those three things together. And then we even think that it is simply enough to carry on what we want to do, simply with a mental picture of what we want to create. And that is the main reason why we have the current chaos in humanity. And it's current, yes, but it's also been there since the beginning of human history. That is, why? Because the things that we imagine in our minds do not match the actual things that we do in reality. That is, divided forces. We don't pay attention to the words we use to define the things that we want to create. And those definitions do not match the actual things we do. That is, a state, a basic state, where all our forces are divided. They are separate, they are separated. If we start from that starting point, we are doomed to fail, because our forces are divided. That is, what we want to create will not match the things that we initially said that we want to create, and so we have the current problems that we have in our day-to-day life. You either stay in the old path, which is the path that humanity has taken since forever, where human beings think that they don't need to define the things that they want to create, that they don't need to pay attention to the definitions they use, that those definitions, it's not important if they don't match the mental picture or their actions, as in all forces are divided. All our forces are divided. That's the old path. The paradigm of magic teaches you the other path. That is, the path to learn the steps to unify all those forces within you and from within you into reality. And that allows you to create the reality that you want to create, to put that chaos, that initial chaos, into order, following what? The 11 steps of magic, the method of magic.
So, thanks to what Ramses has just said, we know that to have magic in our lives, we need a result. And that result comes from an idea. What is the problem with ideas? Ideas are chaos. The mind is chaos. We need a method to put that chaos in order. Why do we need to put that chaos in order? Why? Because usually when you have an idea of something, you just have the idea and the image. But the thing you want is not actually defined. You need words to define it. You need language. You need the spoken word. And when I say the spoken word, I don't mean that if you're mute, you cannot have magic in your life. What I mean, you can write it. I don't mind. But it cannot be only in your mind, because the only thing you have in mind is ideas and images. And ideas and images don't bring magic in your life. You need to put all that chaos in order through language, through words. Let's put in an example. For instance, you want to be a good father. So you will picture yourself being a good father. How? Well, for instance, you will say, okay, I have an idea. What is being a good father? Okay, I can think of that. Being a good father is providing for your family. You can think that. So you start working, and I don't know, you get a job or you start up a company or whatever you do. And you start working because you say, I need to provide for my family because that means being a good father. You work and you work and you work, and you end up being very little time with your children because of your job. So, did providing for your family meant necessarily being a good father? Maybe not, maybe it didn't. Or, I don't know, you're so bad-tempered because what happened at work today that you don't want to pay attention to your children. So, that idea you have of what being a good father was, maybe it wasn't that way. Maybe that was just an idea. So, you need to define what you want with words. You need to use language. We use language for everything. For instance, when you want to get to a place and you get a taxi, what do? You describe the place you want to go to, or you tell them about the place? No, you give the address. You are very specific with words. Or even we can see that in religions. In religions, people gather to speak to God, to sing. Or when you're at home praying, what do? You speak. You don't only think. You also speak to him. You tell him, I want that, I'm angry because of that, or whatever you do, but you speak. So, to achieve magic in your life, to get magic in your life, you need to define the thing you want. And that would be a result. That would be your first result, a thing you defined that goes beyond the idea and the image.
Every sacred book starts in a state of chaos, and suddenly God appears there to create order in that chaos. Every sacred book starts the same way. There was chaos, and suddenly God got there and he created order where there was chaos. But to create order there, he had to take a simple step. He had to actually say what he wanted. It wasn't enough to only think about it. He had to say that he wanted. He had to say, let it be light. He had to actually say to let it be whatever he wanted to be there. It wasn't enough with an idea. He had to put it into words. If there is a state of chaos and we want to put order there, we have to actually order what we want, to order the things that we want to have in order in our life. And that's how the universe works. And those are the steps that God had to actually do to create a universe. Like if there was some kind of symmetry between inside and outside, whatever he wanted to actually appear in his universe, he had to actually say it and put it inside of him. And some way the universe replied to him. Things that started appearing right there. But he had to actually call what he wanted. He had to call whatever thing he wanted to appear in the universe. And to call something is to name it. We have to call what we want. And the things we call, that we name, suddenly listen to us and start coming toward us. There are very powerful forces behind the world. And we will go deep into that subject in the next videos and in more chapters. But all the gods in the sacred book had to actually do the same thing, to say what they wanted. They had to go beyond the idea. And us humans think that usually having a clear idea, we have a clear idea of what we want. We have a clear idea of the things that we want to get in order in our lives. But what we have in our minds is actually chaos. Like in the beginning of the universe, we live in the same state where God actually appeared to create the universe there. We have a constant opportunity to start a universe if we put our mental chaos into order. The same way that if we want to take a taxi, we will have to actually say where we want to go to the taxi driver. It won't be enough to just keep thinking where we want to go. We have to say it, and the taxi driver will take us there. That's the same logic the universe uses for whatever we want. We have to say it, and we have been learning this for thousands of years in every sacred book. The teaching has been there, and suddenly we have the enormous good luck to find it organized order in the 11th step of magic, where the universe starts not with an idea, but with saying the idea we want to actually create in the universe. Put it into words, we start moving the universe in very mysterious ways that we'll actually find that makes the universe move, and everything starts moving around what we say and not the ideas we have.